All right. Welcome, everyone, to this Understanding the CCAP 2024 Independent Writing Assignment webinar. My name is Tawny Stottlemyre, and I am the Project Director for CCAP and the Excellence Expansion Program at INCAP. CCAP stands for Certified Community Action Professional, and it is the premier professional credential that folks working in the National Community Action Network can earn. The program's been around for over 30 years, and over that time, much has changed about the program. Today, to become a CCAP, candidates have to pass two examination processes. There's the proctored exam on April 17th, which happened last week. I think it was last week. I am challenged on dates and times, so keep me straight on all of that. But the proctored exam is, of course, timed and over a variety of topics in the community action body of knowledge. The independent writing assignment is the second examination process that's required. It's a little over 2 weeks provided to complete the assignment. It's at your own pace, and it's focused on a single topic. And it's the independent writing assignment that will today be at the center of this webinar. So in brief, here's what you can expect from the independent writing assignment. As I mentioned, it will be over one topic, and that topic is selected annually by the CCAP Commission's exam committee. And the topic remains confidential until it is publicly released on May 15th. The assignment consists of responding to 2 questions about the topic, and responses are to be in the form of written essays. Completed assignments are due to INCAP no later than May 31st, 2024. And the way to transmit the completed assignments to INCAP is by email. After INCAP confirms receipt of your assignment, it will be independently evaluated by a team of 3 to 5 CCAPs, specifically trained in CCAP's essay evaluation techniques, and who are familiar with the topic area. Evaluations will then be translated into numerical scores, and those scores will be reviewed by the CCAP Commission. Following the Commission's review and approval, candidates who participated in the IWA will receive notice of having received a passing score or not having received a passing score. And it's the Commission's goal to have the IWA notices to participating candidates on or before July 12th. Candidates who have passed both the CCAP proctored exam and the IWA will earn their CCAP designation in 2024. Candidates who have not successfully passed both processes in 2024 and who still have time left in their candidacy, the 3-year candidacy period, you'll have an opportunity to attempt or reattempt one or both parts of the CCAP examination process in 2025. Now, those of you who participated in last week's proctored examination, you were tasked with responding to 4 essay questions. And you may now be looking at what I've told you about the independent writing assignment and wondering, why is the Commission requiring that we do more essays? Well, one reason for that is that unlike the proctored exam essays, with the IWA, you have about 2.5 weeks to research, consider, and compose your very best response. And because the intent of the IWA is to allow for deeper focus on sections B and E of the community action body of knowledge. Because folks, this is where the magic of community action what sets us apart from other anti-poverty practitioners. This is where it's made real. When our vision and values from section B of the body of knowledge are applied in sync with the emerging approaches, theories, and strategies about economic and social justice, section E of the body of knowledge. So the IWA provides you the opportunity to take a deeper dive and to demonstrate that you understand the synergy between those two body of knowledge elements. I'm really excited to be able to share more information with you right now about this recently added part of the CCAP examination process. So I'm glad you're here today. Each year, the CCAP exam committee selects a topic for the IWA exam assignment, right? The topic is pertinent, current, and encompasses an anti-poverty strategy, innovative approach, and/or theory of economic mobility. Now, pertinent means that it's related to our work, and current means that it's modern day news, relatively recent in its emergence or reemergence in our field. And the remainder of that description means that it will be a particular strategy, a particular approach or theory. And by that, I mean, it will not be a broad overarching topic. We're not going to ask you, for example, to write about housing or healthcare or employment. The topic will be more specific, citing a particular strategy in an overall arching topic. Let me explain by way of example. If we were certifying you to be bankers, rather than saying, please write about lending, a pretty broad topic, we would narrow that down to something like, write about commercial lending during a recession. If we were certifying to be bakers, rather than saying, let's talk about yeast, we might narrow that down to something like, let's talk about honey as a proofing agent. And if we were certifying to be ghost hunters, instead of just talking about paranormal devices, we might say, let's talk specifically about the Estes method. So the topic will be pertinent, current, and encompass a particular anti-poverty strategy, innovative approach, and/or theory of economic mobility. Now, for increased accountability and validity, when we're choosing that topic and putting everything together, the CCAP exam committee confers with SMEs, subject matter experts. The subject matter experts help us present the topic in an appropriate fashion, and they help us find the resources to use for the development of the study guide. There will be an IWA study guide, and it will be provided to candidates and used to develop the tools, not only that you'll be using during the assignment, but also that will be used by the evaluators to score candidate submissions about the topic. So just as there is a study guide for the proctored examination, there will be an IWA study guide as well. Both the topic and the study guide will be publicly released on May 15th at noon Eastern. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that that's correct. May 15th at noon Eastern. Now, to be clear, eligible CCAP candidates will have at least two ways to get the topic and the study guide link. One, from the email that NCAP will send to you on May 15th, right around noon Eastern. And two, from the CCAP page on the NCAP website. Two ways to get the study guide and the topic on May 15th and thereafter. Now, I've said eligible candidates, so I want to talk about the term eligible for just a moment. To be eligible, I'm referring to those currently enrolled CCAP candidates who have pre-registered to participate in the IWA. Registration is currently open on NCAP's member portal and will remain open through May 13th. After midnight Eastern Time on May 13th, pre-registration will close, and with it, the opportunity to participate in the 2024 independent writing assignment will also close. So just like we needed you to tell us that you planned to sit for the proctored examination, so we could send you materials and set up your proctor and make all of that happen, we also need you to pre-register and tell us that you plan to participate in the independent writing assignment this year. So you have the topic and you have the study guide. Now what? Well, remember, personal certification is an attestation of an individual's knowledge of the work and skill in applying that knowledge. So let's review the purpose of the IWA. The IWA portion of the CCAP exam provides candidates with an opportunity to demonstrate their ability to understand the broader theoretical and experimental parts of community actions work, and to identify how theories, values, and strategy concepts are made real. Now, that's a lot of really big, nice words put together in a pretty paragraph. You may be sitting there thinking, I still don't know what I'm supposed to do with the topic and the study guide. And if so, that's fair. Candidates are tasked with using the curated material from the study guide to develop responses to 2 questions. Guess what? I'm going to tell you what those questions are right now. Question 1 will ask candidates, how does this topic relate to community action's vision and values? And specifically, candidates will be instructed to select and cite 3 statements from community action's vision and values and clearly describe how each can be manifested within the topic. So candidates will be asked to select and cite 3 statements from community action's vision and values and clearly describe how each can be manifested within the topic. Now be aware that the vision and values referenced in this question come from the community action body of knowledge. So unlike during the CCAP proctored exam, candidates will have full access to the CCAP and community action body of knowledge and should be able to identify and clearly and precisely quote the 3 vision and value statements that you'll use in your response. See, the challenge here is not whether you know or have memorized the vision and value statements. The challenge here is to demonstrate that you understand what they mean when you apply them in a real world context with a real world topic. So question 1 is, how does this topic relate to community actions, vision, and values? Question 2 asks, how can this topic be incorporated into the ongoing work of community action? Now, to be fair, question 2 is really a 2-part question. Based on the material provided in the study guide for the independent writing assignment, candidates will be asked to provide 1 example demonstrating how the topic could be incorporated into the individual and family level work offered through a community action agency. How can this topic be incorporated into the individual and family level work of a community action agency? Additionally, candidates will be asked to provide 1 example demonstrating how a candidate or a community action agency might use community level and structural systems change work to advance the topic. So let's break that down just a little bit further. On question 2, you'll be asked, how can this topic be incorporated into community action's ongoing work? And the focus of the first task is to talk about incorporating it into the individual and family level work offered through community action agencies. That is the direct work with our customers who are living with low income, with our programs, our services. What might it look like to fold that topic into the programming and service delivery structure of a community action agency? For that question, evaluators are going to be looking at how well you demonstrate an understanding of the topic, your knowledge, and how clearly and realistically you can put that topic into a real-life community action setting, representing your skills. On the second part of question 2, provide one example demonstrating how a community action agency might use community level structural systems change work to advance the topic. The focus is not on direct work with families and individuals in a program or the service delivery environment. The focus here is on systems and structures. Community level structural systems change work refers to the efforts aimed at addressing issues within a community by targeting the underlying structures and systems that perpetuate those issues. Rather than focusing solely on individual behavior or circumstances, this approach seeks to transform the broader social, economic, and political systems that contribute to inequality, injustice, or other challenges. It targets the underlying structures and systems to transform the broader social, economic, and political systems. Now, this is a significant part of the history of the roots and the vision for community action. It's in the name of our movement. Despite historical attempts to minimize this aspect of our work, we are today not called the American Social Services Movement or the Emergency Aid for People with Living with Low Income Movement. We are called community action because this network is uniquely built to work with people and to affect social, economic, and political change. That is at the heart of community action. Overall, community-level structural systems change work seeks to create lasting and equitable change by addressing the root causes of social problems and transforming the systems that perpetuate them. If it's sounding familiar, it should be, because we're talking about the causes and conditions of poverty. Think of this as advocacy. Think of it in terms of community level engagement. Think of it in terms of collective impact. So question 2 is asking CCAP candidates to not only identify how the selected topic applies to our work with individuals, but also to identify how the topic can guide and direct activity in the broader way of leading positive systems and system changes that will impact our lives. And here, evaluators again will be looking at how well you've demonstrated that you understand the topic, including the related structural and systemic issues, and how appropriate and realistic is the example that you provide for community action to engage in structural systems work. So let's review. The independent writing assignment will ask you to answer 2 questions. On question 1, it will ask you to pick 3 of community action's vision and value statements and relate them to the topic and show how they can come alive and be realized through the topic. In question 2, you'll be asked about how the topic applies to our ongoing work. In one example, you should talk about it being included in work that we do with individuals and families. And in the second example, you should describe how it can guide community actions, community level structural systems change work. These are the two questions candidates will be asked in the IWA. Now let's talk about a few of the technicalities of the independent writing assignment itself. Each essay should be 250 to 750 words. Anything over 750 will be eliminated prior to the response being given to the evaluators. There is a 750 word maximum. There is no enforced minimum number of words. The 250 that you see here is a recommended minimum target. However, if you can adequately address the questions in fewer than 250 words, your response will be accepted and evaluated. Additionally, the response needs to be double-spaced using a standard font in 11 or 12-point type. Remember, evaluators have to read your work, and they'll likely be reading the work of 200, 250, 290 other people. So you want to avoid fancy fonts or anything that might make it difficult to review your response. Now, in case you're curious, 750 words double-spaced, that's approximately 3 pages. And I want to again emphasize, however, that 750 words is the maximum length allowed for each essay. If you're able to produce a solid response in fewer words, that's just fine. Your responses will be evaluated on quality, not on length. We prefer to have those responses come in as a single document, 2 essays. And those 2 essays together make up one IWA response document. And there should be in there a clear delineation between, like, this is essay 1 and this is essay 2, right? You can just put a little title, it'll be fine, but they should be delineated. And we prefer to have those come in as a Microsoft Word doc or a Google Doc, but a PDF is also acceptable. Those 3 forms. Perhaps more than anything else, though, something to keep in mind for your independent writing assignment is that it must be your own work and your own ideas. Your work may be reviewed for originality and authorship, and any indications of potential plagiarism or non-authentic work will be thoroughly investigated. Now, does that mean you can't talk to anyone about your essays? Of course not. In fact, we hope that you do. It simply means that you should not copy the work of others or turn something in that you did not actually think up and compose on your own. In fact, you're encouraged to present the best version of the work that you can. So while the use of AI is not allowed, it is acceptable to have a colleague proofread your essays or to proofread using software like Grammarly. Turn in your best work. Just make sure it's your work. And remember, earning your CCAP isn't something that you're doing for me or for NCAP or anyone else. You're seeking to become a certified community action professional because of the learning experience involved and to prove to yourself and the world that you have the knowledge and the skills to effectively lead in this network. So turning in someone else's work, it would be a violation of the Community Action Code of Ethics, and it would be robbing yourself of that learning experience and feeling that true pride of what it means when you pass both exams and you actually get the credential of being a CCAP. So please make sure it is your own work. Now, a little Q&A about this. Question: do I have to cite my resources or my sources used? Answer: yes, but keep it simple. Just cite it within the essay text. There's no need or room really for footnotes or anything like a bibliography. If you're making a quick quote or citing someone else, just do it within your text. And I've given you an example there. There's no formulas, no footnote methodologies, just cite in your narrative if you're indeed quoting or using someone else's piece of material. Question: can I add a title page or a table of contents? If you think it's necessary, yes. But remember, it needs to be one page. That one page is single-sided, and it contains no narrative. If it does contain narrative, it will be included in the word count for your essay limit. So you can include a table of contents if you want to. Probably won't be necessary, but if you do, no narrative included. Question: can I use graphics and charts? Answer is yes, if you created them and they are meaningful to expressing your ideas and positions. Also, any graphics and charts included must be incorporated into the body of your response. Attachments and addendums are not allowed. And remember, this is an independent writing assignment. It's not an independent graphics or multimedia extravaganza event. So keep the use of non-text elements to a bare minimum and include them only if they're truly adding value to the work. Question: can I add example documents or forms as attachments? No, just like in casual dating, attachments are not allowed. Question: can I submit an essay response that is 753 words long? Answer: yes, but only 750 of those words will actually be given to the evaluators. You have approximately 2.5 weeks, because we understand that in community action, nothing happens in a vacuum. Your real life is going to go on around you. Your real work will go on around you. So we want to give you more time than you had in the proctored exam to really think about this topic and to develop your ideas and be able to represent them thoroughly. The topic will be released on May 15th, and candidate responses are due to NCAP no later than May 31st. To be clear, assignments are due to NCAP by midnight Eastern time zone on May 31st. Let's do a little Q&A about that as well. Question: can I turn my IWA in on June 1st at 12:03 a.m. Eastern time? Well, I've got no on the slide, but technically the answer is yes, you can, but it will not be accepted as timely, and it will not be given to the evaluators. The deadline is May 31st, midnight Eastern time. Question: should I wait until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on May 31st to submit my IWA? Answer: not unless you love the thrill of taking a huge risk and you really, really trust email servers. We highly recommend turning in your assignment well before midnight and even before May 31st to allow yourself time for the inevitable something that won't go as planned. Question: should I submit my IWA and just assume it has been received by NCAP? Answer: also no. On business days, we will acknowledge receipt of your assignment within 24 hours of it hitting our email inbox. If you send it over the weekend, We will acknowledge the receipt by the close of the next business day. And bonus track, if you have a current mobile phone number in your NCAP member portal profile, we will not only send you an email acknowledgement, we will also send you a text message letting you know that NCAP has received your independent writing assignment. Pro tip, if you don't have your mobile number in your profile in the portal, you can go in and add it. You can also include your mobile number in the email when you transmit your assignment to us. Either way, if you've not received a timely confirmation of receipt from NCAP, it's your responsibility to contact us for verification. And this is just a really big bonus slide. Pro tip number 2, this is why you should not wait until May 31st or even May 30th to submit your assignment. If NCAP doesn't have time to confirm receipt and your IWA isn't received by the deadline, you will have no other options to submit. So submit early, at least earlier than May 31st. Question, should I submit my IWA with plenty of time for NCAP to receive it and verify receipt prior to the deadline? And should I contact NCAP if I haven't received timely confirmation of receipt? Yes, that's exactly what should happen. Please do that. You will submit your IWA response to CCAP at Community Action Partnership, all put together, .com. CCAP at communityactionpartnership.com. Do remember that we are a .com. We are not a .org. And if you send it to communityactionpartnership.org, it will not reach us. So submit via email to CCAP at communityactionpartnership.com. Please use a subject line that is 2024 IWA submission dash your first initial, period, space, and last name. So if NWBA star Caitlin Clark were submitting her submission, it would look something like this. 2024 IWA submission dash C for Caitlin, period, space, Clark for her last name. And remember, submissions can come as a Microsoft Word document, a Google Doc, or an Adobe PDF, but both of your essays should be in one document and submitted by May 31st. So in review, your independent writing assignment will focus on one topic. That topic will be released on May 15th, and there will be 2 questions for you to answer. The first question is, how is the emphasis of this topic related to Community Action's vision and values? And the second question, how can this topic have a real-world experience of community action from the programming perspective and from the systems and structural change perspective? And we're going to email that to NCAP. Your essay responses will be no longer than 750 words each. Once we receive them, they'll be evaluated and scored. The commission will review all of that material, and then notices will be sent out to let you know the status of your independent writing assignment no later than July 12th. And one other important note, if during the evaluation process, the evaluators flag your IWA response as being of exceptionally high quality, it will be forwarded to the committee that recommends CCAP candidate work for inclusion in the Lois J. Carson Library of Excellence. And you may be invited to make a brief presentation about your work during the CCAP Center Stage event at NCAP's 2024 annual convention in Seattle. So there is that opportunity for really outstanding IWAs to be inducted into the Carson Library. Hello, Lois. It's good to see your smiling face. And to make a presentation about your work to other CCAPs during the annual convention in Seattle this coming year. So with that, I want to ask if there are any questions. I see Martin has a hand up. So let's start with you, Martin.
Okay. Just for clarification purposes, I assume for question 2, which has 2 parts, that 750 words max is both parts combined, not 750 for part 1 and 750 for part 2.
You are correct. 750 for the question as a total, a whole.
Thank you.
Not 750 for part 1 and 750 for part 2. Anyone else out there have a question that you'd like to ask? Feel free to unmute, and if we travel on top of each other, we'll just self-manage that.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's not concerning this independent writing assignment, but the objector test that we took last week. When will we get the results? Do you know?
Yeah, we're never actually going to release that to you. You'll just know.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay. Okay.
Those are being evaluated right now. And the commission meets on May 8th. And so our goal is to have all of those notifications sent out to candidates no later than May 10th.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry about scaring you.
That's
there.
Okay. You did scare me. Thank you.
Okay, I'm only slightly sorry. I'm evil.
Okay.
Marissa, I see your hand.
Hi, good afternoon. I understand that you said that the Word doc, the Google Doc, or Adobe PDF, if needed, are your preferred document types. I was just wondering if we are allowed to go ahead and restrict our document from editing whenever we send that. I'm just worried about, Word documents are always the best with like formatting, and if someone's opening it to access it to begin reading it and scoring it, maybe someone accidentally deleting something, along those lines, they can always, go ahead and turn that off whenever they get it, prepared on their screen. I'm just wondering if that's permittable or if you would prefer us not to do that.
So permittable, yes. But I will tell you that staff will have to look over them first for the word limit issues. And so we would need, or we will find a way to edit the document if it exceeds the word limit issues or has things like attachments before it goes on to evaluators.
Okay, that's totally fine.
Thanks, Marissa. Other questions?
I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but we are allowed to do this writing assignment even if we don't have our results from the test back or we were not as successful as we thought we were on the test, correct?
Correct. Yes. The way that the program is structured, you as candidates have the choice of when you take either part of the examination process, and you can take one without having passed the other. So you've got your whole three-year time frame. You just need to pass both of them successfully before the end of that time frame to become a CCAP. So yes.
So I do have a question, Tawny. This is Jennifer Dudek. So are we going to receive these instructions with the information on the 15th as well?
You must have been reading my mind, Jennifer. Stop that. for your own health and safety. Yes, so everything that I told you today will also be in the written instructions that accompany the release of the topic and the study guide.
Thank you.
Yes. I'll probably leave the bad jokes out, but the instructions will be there. Anything else?
Thanks, Connie. A quick question, Margarita Banderas. You indicated that it's an independent writing assignment, but it's okay to talk to others about the topic. At our organization, there's a group of 4 of us working on our certification. So it would be okay and appropriate for those conversations to happen within those individuals.
It would, absolutely. And, you know, the whole point is for you to turn in your best work. What wouldn't be okay, Margarita, is for you all to sit together and decide what should be in each other's papers, right?
Right.
It's good to present your ideas and say, this is, you know, the direction I'm going and here's why. But make sure again that it's your own work, a representation of you, not a representation of the group.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. I'm not seeing anybody else unmuting. Yay, that's great. So I want to remind you about registration for participating in the IWA. Registration closes on May 13th. And that happens through NCAP's member portal. So please make sure if you're planning to participate that you get your registration in on time. And then from that registration list on May 15th, NCAP will be sending out the announcement of the topic. And it will also be posted on our webpage, the CCAP page for NCAP's website. All right. Thank
Tony,
you. Yes.
this is Arlene. You have one question in the chat. If we register to do the IWA but do not complete it, does that negatively affect us at all?
No. No, I can't think of any reason that it would affect you. But if you do register and you decide not to complete it, as soon as you can let us know, it will be really helpful, because what we're doing in the meantime is building up the group of evaluators. And it makes a difference if I've got 200 people participating versus 290 people participating. So registration is your way of letting us know that you want to be counted in those numbers. And if you're not going to be, it really helps us to know. Thanks, Arlene. And thanks to commissioners that are here. I appreciate you. Thanks to all of you for your participation in the CCAP program. And as the screen says, good luck and best wishes to each of you. We'll get this recording out within 10 days. Take care.